Welcome to Off the Cuff, episode 16, where we answer your questions about Lego. Today we've got a lot of questions to cover. We're going to talk about ModuSpace display cases. We're going to talk about Botanical Garden, the new Modular, and more. We've got so much to talk about today. It's going to be great. First of all, some people have been noticing that we have some really cool display cases behind us.
We do indeed.
So can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, so these behind us are ModuSpace shelves. We do have a couple different types. The DF120s are the main ones we have right here. But these are incredible shelves that are massive, and they have plexiglass fronts. You can get LED strip lighting for them, which we have here. Still working on the finishing touches as I lean back here, but we have some cords we want to kind of fasten down. But they are great because you can store your Lego sets or display them dust-free, and they're so big you can put some massive sets on there. So if you check out behind me, we've got the entire row of Ninjago City modular buildings right there. We did have to take a little bit off the top for some of them, but they all fit in there. And then some of the really deep ones, like the Tournament Temple City and the Pirates of Barracuda Bay, which you can see here, even the original Black Barracuda fit in here depth-wise, so they are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some Black Friday sales coming up too, so if you are interested in them, you can check that out. We'll put a link below in the description.
Yeah, Brian Wong over at ModuSpace actually sent us an email and was like, hey, we've got some Black Friday sales coming up, so definitely check out that link in the description below. We're going to be doing more videos on this, actually. So we've got a whole room renovation we're going to be talking about. We're not showing you the rest of the room right now because it's not quite ready. But we'll also do some in-depth reviews of the ModuSpace display cabinets. And again, they are absolutely fantastic. I love the end result. It looks fantastic with the lights on. And this honestly is the best display option we've ever had by far, and it's one that I don't know if I ever really dreamed of having a nice setup like this before, so I'm pretty excited.
Speaking of Black Friday, as Black Friday approaches, are there any sets that you would like to add to your collection, or pieces for mocks, or anything if the price is right?
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Any Lego fan has a wish list that's probably longer than you can actually afford, which is certainly the case with us. So there are definitely ways and places that you can check out to get some great deals. The first one, of course, if you want to go through Lego and Lego.com, you can do that. They do have a lot of information on their website, which they're going to be updating. We're recording this a few days before Black Friday, and they don't have the actual Black Friday sales listed, but from what I've seen, you're going to be able to get a couple of different gifts with purchase. If you get the Endurance, the new ship that's coming out, you'd get a gift with purchase for that particular set. You'd cross, I think, the threshold for both of the other gifts with purchase, the Winter Holiday Train as well as the record player. They also are going to have a lot of sets discounted about 20%. So you might want to check out that list to see if there's something that you've been eyeing over the past couple of months or even couple of years, especially if something is retiring soon. But of course, Lego and Lego.com is not the only place you can go, right? There are a lot of other places that have sales. You can definitely check out Walmart. Target had an early Black Friday sale that was ongoing as we speak right now. And of course, Amazon started their Black Friday deals early and some really deep discounts on sets, including some sets for sale that retired a little bit ago. So that was interesting when I was perusing the Amazon.com sales. So lots of places that you can go to get some really good deals on Lego if you're looking to get some stuff for Christmas, for family, friends, or even yourself.
You still didn't tell us, though, what set you're eyeing.
I've been eyeing a few. So there were a couple things I've been thinking about. Number one is the Daily Bugle. It's one that I know is retiring at some point early to mid next year. And I love modular buildings. I know it doesn't fit in great with the modular scale, but it's still modular compatible and is a fantastic build, great minifigs. I'm also eyeing Pac-Man, which you're not a big fan of, I can tell, or even 2 copies of the Castle Bed and Breakfast from the Friends line, maybe trying to turn that into a modular building. So those are some things that I've been eyeing, and anything else that just kind of catches your eye at the Lego store.
Okay, our next question is about gifts with purchases. They want to know, have the gifts with purchase become larger and more in quantity? And if so, do you think that they're doing that in order to try to increase sales of $250 plus sets?
Well, absolutely. Lego is enticing purchase or buyers with gifts with purchase. That's the whole strategy behind it, as well as FOMO. They want you to be like, I've got to get this set now because of the gift with purchase, and because you don't want to miss out on the set. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm not going to get the set." Now, to Lego, keep in mind the strategy. The longer you go without buying a set, the more likely it is that you're not going to buy it. And so if they can get you in on day one, week one, or whatever it is, to get that set, it's a purchase in the bank. So they are using that strategy, and they're going to use it selectively. Now, I haven't taken like data on how many gifts with purchase we've had and what all the thresholds are, but I do know that Lego is going to try to entice some of the large sets like Jabba Sail Barge or Barad-dûr, which are going to require $460 or $500 to purchase, and the record player that's going to be available on Insiders Weekend right now, or as we record this, Black Friday, maybe even Cyber Monday. That's a $250 threshold. So I think they're doing that to try to entice people to purchase some of these larger sets. They do the same thing with Insiders points, double points, and other types of giveaways that they might have. So that's a possibility. I don't know if they're getting bigger. They do have, I think, scaled gifts with purchase depending on the threshold. So the pumpkin is going to be a little smaller than the bookshelf, which is going to be smaller than, of course, the record player or even the holiday train that is available right now. So I think they're just trying to keep in mind how much it costs to produce them, whether the margins are going to be on the sets that you might put together to get that threshold, and go from there.
Coming up later, we have some of your most frequently asked questions that we're going to answer, and also some more news about the new Modular, so stay tuned for that. Before we get to that, we've got a few other questions that you guys have asked us that we want to make sure we answer as well. So first of all, how about those collectible minifigs? How do you know what you're getting?
There are a couple of different apps that you can download. I think I'm drawing a blank on some of the names all of a sudden, like OMG Brick or something like that has an app. There's another one that actually just announced they're doing a subscription service, so I am not downloading that. But you can actually download an app, and then you can scan the barcode at Target, Walmart, the Lego store, anywhere that you might go to get your collectible minifigs. That way you know what it is that you are getting. That's one option. I do know that in reading some reviews of them, because I don't buy a lot of the collectible minifigs, but I am looking at getting that Wolfpack Beastmaster from Collectible Series number 27. But I do think that some of them don't work as well as others. So check out the reviews, try to find one that works well, and if you just don't want to even take that risk, you can always go to Bricklink or eBay to try to get some of them. You might pay a little bit of a markup plus shipping and handling. It depends on how badly you want those. But personally, that's one of the reasons why I want to reduce that uncertainty when I buy one and get one that I actually want. Which, again, we don't buy a ton of the collectible minifigs because we like big sets like this, and that's what we kind of save up our money for.
Yeah, we're more about the buildings and the structures than the minifigs.
But we do like the minifigs. We do like minifigs,
sure. Just
not as much as other people.
Right.
Unless it's Lord of the Rings minifigs. Oh, give us some Gondor soldiers. Anyway.
Next question is about the Botanical Garden here. With it being all white, are there concerns that it will yellow over time?
Yes. Yes, 100 times yes. In fact, I was thinking of this when I was looking at the pictures, and even when I was building it. If you go back throughout LEGO's history, they've always had a problem with certain colors yellowing. It's not just white, but others as well. I've got a lot of pirate sets from the 1980s and 90s that yellowed, and it's just, they almost look tan. I mean, like, you can hold them up to a brand new tan brick, and they're almost the same color. So that is a problem. In fact, one of the drawbacks, we have all of our modulars in the basement. We don't have large windows in the basement. We do have some small ones, and some of those pieces are yellowing. And so it's really discouraging to see that. It is inevitable if you have your Lego in a room that is exposed to UV rays. So how can you solve that problem? Well, number one, you can put up like curtains that are going to block out the UV rays, and you can also do whatever other steps you want to keep them out of the sunlight. But that's the cause of it, and I'm absolutely worried about this yellowing over the next 10 to 12 years. It does take a lot to really yellow them, but yeah, it's a real concern.
The next question is about the minifigs of the X Mansion. Someone said that the colors might be off on the on some of the X Mansion minifigs, and so they're wondering if ours are kind of off and greenish or if they're fine.
Ours are fine. There were a couple concerns I had when we got the minifigs. Some of them are this wasn't right here we go with Dr. Jean Grey. Some of them have like printing over a darker color of a head, and that's something that Lego's really struggled with. So here we've got a dark blue minifig head with the printing on top of that, and sometimes they don't put enough density in the print so that the dark blue like pops through the printing, which has been a problem with minifigs in the past. But I haven't noticed anything problematic with these minifigs in terms of the actual colorations. There have been some times when coloring of prints are off when it comes to the torso versus the legs, but I do know that some of the criticisms of this particular, or Lego in particular, is that the colors on the legs don't match up very well. These look pretty good. Maybe not 100%, but I do like how they've printed them here. So I don't have a huge problem with the minifigs on that particular set.
Okay. Now someone noticed our Harry and Hermione, the giant minifigs, and wanted to know if there's any other minifigs that Lego makes.
So that was, I think, like the first experimental buildable minifigs that they had, and then they came out with one last year. I think that was like $50 or $70. That was just a generic Lego minifig, yellow hands, yellow smiley face, just blue shirt, torso with the red hat, and it sold, I think, pretty well. At least at our Lego store. I haven't seen it in the Lego store for a while. I don't know if it's retired, but they do some of those. Now, my understanding is, and this is just from what I've read and gleaned from other videos and online forums, is that the person who designed those left Lego, and so if they were planning on doing that as a continuing series, that with that person leaving, they kind of got taken out of the rotation. They may or may not bring them back. The other thing is, I'm not sure how well the Harry and Hermione actually sold. So if you like those kinds of things and you see them, buy them, because it gives Lego an incentive to continue to make those kinds of things, which is why we buy like Lord of the Rings brick heads. I don't love the brick heads, but I love Lord of the Rings, and so I want Lego to keep making Lord of the Rings, especially affordable Lord of the Rings sets.
Yeah, those really those large buildable minifigs, when I saw the Harry and Hermione, I was not impressed at all. Yeah. I was just like, okay. But our daughter really wanted that set, so we let her pick that one, and when we got it built, we all loved it.
Yeah, it was really cool. The wands in particular are a little flimsy, and they snap off easily, but a lot of it is well built, and it was really cool building techniques, great pieces, and it was a fun experience.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple questions that have been asked multiple times, so I want to go over those now. First,
and then are we going to talk modular? I got to wonder.
Yeah, we're still holding out for the modular.
People want to know about modular buildings. All right, so okay.
All right, so back to the Botanical Garden. We had a few people wanting to know why we would even want to place this in our modular city when usually you see Botanical Gardens surrounded by a lot of open green space.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think ideally that's what we would do. We would have, like, just view this table right here, so take this Botanical Garden, surround it on this entire table with walking paths and trees and flower gardens and all those kinds of things. But I think the biggest impediment for us, as well as most LEGO fans, is space and resources, right? If you think about how this would work, you'd have a lot of base plates just full of small pieces that add up. You want to have a little bit of terrain, some hill work. You want to contour that, maybe have a stream coming through with a bridge and some trees that are, take a lot of pieces, and it adds up. In fact, one of my favorite channels I like to watch is called Brick Crafts. It's a guy from Germany that builds these huge displays, and he built this massive pirates like island and volcano and ship and all this stuff. And on one of his more recent videos, he talked about how it cost $30,000, I think it was. It was insane, like how much this stuff costs. I mean, it's just crazy when you think about the amount of money you can spend on doing it the right way. So I totally understand why people would want to do that. But in just being transparent, we don't have the space or the resources to do that. And it is a set that started off being modular on LEGO Ideas. So when it was approved, people were hoping that it would be modular, and because it is such an impressive structure, I think people want to know what it looks like next to other modular buildings. And just because of space constraints and resource constraints here, we're probably going to put it in our modular city, but we want to be creative with how we fit that in so that it is maybe next to some green space. And one thing that I did find, you can check out our video where we place this next to other modular buildings. This looks really good next to the X Mansion. It's crazy to think about because a lot of people don't like how small the X Mansion is compared to other modular buildings. This one looks great. A lot of green space here matches up well with the green space from the X Mansion. So we're keeping that in mind, but we can't always be ideal with how we display our Lego.
Also, a question that has kind of come up from time to time regularly is, are we ever going to cover Lego competitors?
You know, I'm not opposed to it. We are actually growing as a channel and our revenue has increased, so it's tempting to maybe explore some other things. We do have quite a bit of backlog in our projects and things that we would want to get from Lego that we couldn't afford even like 6 months ago before our channel continued to grow and we've been making a little bit more revenue. That's one thing. I did see, and this is kind of weird, but I did see that Aldi is coming out with some like Lego type builds of an Aldi store and an Aldi delivery truck. And so I'm like, oh, like they look like they're going to be like $7 or something like that. So I'd be tempted to get something small from a competitive brand and maybe review that. Because I know a lot of people are frustrated by various aspects of Lego, including like the whitening or the yellowing of white bricks and other colors, minifig prints. I mean, we've had just some of these questions over the years that really do get at some of the problems that Lego's had. And Lego does take certain steps to improve things, but it's like there's always a fire to put out with that and people get frustrated. And so they might want to go toward another company that makes similar style things. And yeah, I get that. And if it's cheaper, it's more affordable, and it provides a really good building experience, by all means, do that. And we may do that at some point in addition to what we have in terms of Lego, if there's something that really kind of pops to us, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've seen several commenters telling us about their favorite brand of non-Lego building bricks.
Absolutely.
And I've looked some of those up, and there's some really cool stuff out there.
Yeah.
But just there's still a lot of cool Lego that we don't even have in the Lego brand, and so it's a decision of, do we continue getting the things we're interested in that are made by Lego, or branch off and start another company.
Yeah, and again, we're not opposed to branching out a little bit at all. In fact, it's just a matter of resources and space, which every Lego fan has to deal with.
All right.
Okay.
Here we are. We're going to talk about the new modular.
Yeah.
All right. So we were able to see a leaked image.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you all have seen this leaked image or not.
Reddit. Lego leaks Reddit.
All right. So after having seen that image, what do you think?
It looks really good. It looks really good. I wasn't sure what to expect, but every now and again Lego comes out with a modular that just like changes the way you see modular buildings. And I know it sounds weird because they're all buildings and they're all trying to do similar things. I mean, different techniques, but they want to have really fun building techniques, be visually impressive and just striking. And every now and again Lego drops one and you're like, that is incredible. So in looking at it, and I've only seen the one image, it looks absolutely fantastic. It's a Tudor corner. It's got a little shout out to the old Garden Inn. The sign says, refers to that, so that's cool. They've got a haberdashery, which is kind of cool to think about. But just this fantastic like British style pub, fish and chip shop. And then at the top you've got a black and white Tudor, and then a fantastic dark red roof that's angled, and so it looks absolutely incredible. I think there's 7 minifigs. You get 2 kittens, no dogs. So if you're a dog person, tough luck. But if you love cats, awesome, good for you. But it looks like so many fun building techniques, some really cool pieces, new colors in a variety of pieces. So when those images drop, Lego announces it, I guarantee you we are going to be breaking that set down in detail, aiming to get it on day 1, which I believe will be January 1st. But it is absolutely incredible. Definitely my favorite modular, just looking at the images, since at least the Botanical Garden, not Botanical Gardens, that's right here, the Boutique Hotel, which I know is one of your favorite modular buildings. And I think right up there with like the Parisian restaurant and maybe even the Green Grocer, which are up there in my pantheon of Lego modulars.
Well, now I have a hankering for fish and chips.
Totally do.
That sounds good.
Does. Some good tartar sauce.
All right, thanks for watching. Please comment below with your questions. We'd love to answer your questions next month on next month's episode of Off the Cuff. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like this video, and always remember to keep building together.